Have you ever heard the story of a man by the name of Nahash? This is a great story. It's gruesome, but it's great. So you'll find some gruesomeness, but some greatness in the gruesomeness. Nahash was a ruler, and he came up on a town called Jabesh Gilead. Now, what happened was, as Nahash is rolling through the town with his army, he surrounds Jabesh Gilead. Now, Jabesh Gilead is a city that is surrounded by walls. And so what Nahash says to the men of Jabesh Gilead is, we're here to conquer you. Basically, take you under our rule, take you as our slaves. We're going to take over your city. So the men of Jabesh Gilead go to Nahash, and this is what they say. They say, listen, we will allow you to be our ruler, our king, basically. And they say, all we want to do is continue to live our life, don't destroy our city, and we will pay whatever tax, whatever it costs for us to do that, we will do it. Now here's the gruesome part. Nahash says to the leaders of Jabesh Gilead, says, okay, it's a good deal. But here's what I want from you. I want every one of you, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl, I want to pluck out one of their eyes, and we're going to take those eyes basically and put them on the perimeter of the city so as to remind you who did that. I did that. Nahash did that. And so the leaders of Jabesh Gilead say, okay, first of all, who would want to do that? Who would do that? I could not imagine if someone overtook the town of Reynoldsburg and they came to me and said, you have to pluck out one of your eyes, pluck out one of your wife's eyes, pluck out your daughter's eye, pluck out your sons that are at home, pluck out one of their eyes and give them to us. Who's going to do that? Who would even agree to this? But the men of Jabesh Gilead, they say, okay, we'll do that. Now they ask one other question. They say, hey, listen, Nahash, just before we pluck the eye out and give it to you as a tax, is it okay if we see if we can get some help? And the story tells us that this guy Nahash is so arrogant and so full of the fact that nobody's going to be able to come and help these leaders. He goes, sure, I'll give you time. So they send out a message and they say, hey, this is what's going on. And the king of Israel, whose name was Saul at the time, the first king of Israel, Saul, stood head and shoulders above everybody else, looked like a king. He heard about what was going on, and he sent a message back, and Saul has a flair for the dramatic, and he says, tell the people of Jabesh Gilead, by the time the sun gets hot tomorrow, your deliverance will be there. Now, there's a lot of things that I don't have time to unpack, but the one thing that I want to look at is they were willing to give up part of their vision, literally part of their vision, to live under what they thought would be an okay situation. But not just their vision, they were willing to give up the vision of their spouses, of their kids. Who's going to do that? I couldn't see plucking my child's eye out. And no matter how angry I get at my wife, I can't see plucking her eye out. Now, I won't speak for her. She might pluck mine out. But the whole situation is that, how do you come to that? But there's a deeper story here. It's that when you are willing to give up part of your vision, you'll never have all of your vision. Let me say that again. When you give up part of your vision, you'll never have all of your vision. So literally, they might pluck out one eye, and they say, well, I lost part of my vision, but I still have this eye. But you don't have the ability of having both eyes. And in life, you have to have a vision or a goal or something that you look forward to. Even if it's something as simple as getting up in the morning and going to work. It gives you something to look forward to. It gives you a goal, a vision. I want to remind us this week, don't give up a piece of your vision. Because if you give up a piece of your goal, you'll never have all of your goal. If you give up a piece of your vision, you'll never have all of your vision. If you give up a portion of your victory, then you don't really have victory. So the story goes that King Saul showed up. And when he got there, it was a whole nother story. He told Nahash, he said, nobody's plucking anybody's eyes out. And they didn't. Your vision is worth fighting for. Your goal is worth fighting for. You, no matter what you were told growing up or how you feel right now or how people are making you feel, you are worth fighting for. Don't give up a portion of your vision when all of your vision is out there for you to have.